Hi, and welcome to another episode of Exotic Escapades. You know, in my journeys to discover the arts, culture, and entertainment of new cities, I keep pushing out further west. This time, I have taken my biggest leap yet to the western gateway of China. This is Chongqing, China's fastest growing city. According to legend, the mythical King Yu, tamer of floods and third ruler of China, came to this area and found the woman he loved. They were married here, and that's why the city has been flourishing ever since. Chongqing is now the guiding light for how China wants the rest of its western region to be. It's a stylish urban city with a lot of historical roots, and it's appeared in a lot of famous Chinese movies. Or at least the bamboo forests surrounding the city have, where the famous fight in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon took place. Chongqing, meaning double happiness in Chinese, is a city of the future. It's the gateway to Asia's longest river, the Yangtze, and it's the largest industrial and commercial city in southwestern China, all while still offering an ancient soul stretching back 3,000 years. As night sets on the city and the lights come on, it looks prettier than ever. Well, it looks like all the bright lights of Chongqing had converged right on this street. It's a club street of sorts, and if you look in all the buildings, there's hundreds of places to choose from. I'm not so sure that I'm really dressed for partying, but I intend to have a really great time. I'm gonna strut my stuff. Come on. These days, it seems like China is experiencing a new cultural revolution, but this one is of an entirely different nature. The new sights, sounds, and ideas of the world have been bleeding into China, whether it's from what they see in movies, hear in music, or just get from the travelers that are coming in larger and larger numbers to the country. Whoa, I mean, I felt like I wasn't doing enough in that club. People are crazy in there. They're dancing and singing. They want to dance with me. Wow, I didn't have any lack of partners, I can tell you. I'm good. Now, you know what I was thinking? I could try the KTV lounge because it looks really special. Or maybe even get a haircut because there is actually a hairdresser open at this hour of the night. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go off and meet a very special friend of mine who is an expert at certain nocturnal activities. Food always has a special place in the soul of China. Bailu is a great street for snack hunting, with its small street vendors selling qian sui chicken, duck cooked with beer, baozi steamed buns, dried stewed fish, and many more. The variety of the food can satisfy even the fussiest gourmet. Wow, what a spread.
Yes, I know you're hungry.
Jamie, what is that?
Oh, those are duck eggs.
Really?
That's Chinese duck eggs.
And this?
Pig's ears.
Oh no,
Sliced.
that's something I've never tried. This is a typical kind of stuff that you'd come and eat after you go out clubbing or just late night snack.
That's right, that's right.
Also known as the Good Food Street, Bailu, which only comes live at night, is completely dedicated to an enormous variety of amazing and sometimes even hair-raising Sichuan food. Strong flavors and spices dominate. Beware the hot and tongue-numbing Sichuan peppercorn and a liberal use of chili peppers. Food lovers will quite likely go crazy here.
Nice smell.
How much more of this do I have to look at before I can actually eat it?
You know, this is a street of good food. Many stores. You have to see more.
I'll be patient.
Yes.
I'll be patient.
Be patient. Now, I will just invite you to taste a very famous, just a local fast food, sweet potato noodle. It's the spiciest noodles you can find in this street.
Oh, nice.
Have you ever had it before?
No, never, never, ever.
But this is the most appealing food to girls.
This is girl food.
More
Yeah, I see lots of
sensitive
girls
tongues
eating
there.
it.
Yes, many of them.
So girls have a better palate.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we're
Just,
hot.
yeah, spicy girl.
Yes. So come on, let's have some.
Yeah, 来碗那个酸辣粉嘛。
You know, I love this food street. It's vibrant, it's bright lights, so much fun, both in the clubs and out here. They're chowing down on wonderful food.
Look at the color here.
Look at my great girl noodles. You know, I think it's really important to note that while Chongqing is a modern, wonderful city on the rise, and it's just so full of life and noise and fun, it also retains quite a bit of its old world charm. Here's to Chongqing. While the city marches on into the modern era, there are still parts of it that try to preserve the past. One of these is known as the Porcelain Harbour, or Turtiku, the ancient town. For generations, this area was one of the most important sites for receiving the porcelain that was used in works like the famous Ming Dynasty vases, so widely recognized all around the world. This is also one of the few places you can go to in the Chongqing area to get a taste for what the simpler country lifestyle is like. Though the Porcelain Harbour is still closely connected to the city, it has managed to retain a pace and lifestyle all its own, with a lot of the older architecture remaining intact. When you look carefully, you can still find houses here constructed out of bamboo and timber, exactly the way they used to be centuries ago. The location of Turtiku is considered to have perfect feng shui by the local people because 3 mountains surround it and 2 rivers run right across it. It is often said that a visit to China is a real cultural experience. The residents and craftspeople of Turtiku continue to pursue the disappearing traditions in a little rustic village, which is today a vibrant market for both locals and tourists, leaving you spoilt for choice when seeking a unique souvenir that will remind you of this exotic place for a very long time. Thank you. Sooner or later, it's time to stop and smell the roses, or tea, as it were. That's the beauty of travel, isn't it? You can cross the spectrum in just a couple of days. I've just visited an ancient town, I'm about to cross a fabled river, and I'm going to meet a very famous artist. Wow, look at the view. We're in a cable car that actually goes right across the Yangtze River. This is the point where you can actually take the famous Yangtze River cruise. So if you've got about a week in Chongqing, you've got to do it, because that is the cruise that's going to take you to see the 3 gorges. You've got to do that before 2009, before it's all gone, to make way for the world's largest hydroelectric dam. This is a piece of really old, ancient China, but there's a lot of new, young blood making its mark on this country. Sichuan Fine Arts Institute is China's oldest art academy. Established in the 1940s, the institute has won a high reputation, both at home and abroad, for its distinguished arts education quality, its creative synergy, and outstanding achievements. It has a great deal of contemporary well-known artists and designers as teachers and academics, and it's known as a bright arts pearl in the upper reaches of the Yangtze River. Tankloff Chongqing Contemporary Art Center.
rebuilt on a used tank storehouse, is located inside Sichuan Fine Arts Institute. It is a non-profit art organization which serves as a link to maintain relations between art and culture in many respects. Multidisciplinary art shows, academic forums, and exchanges across regions are organized to create a bridge between the art and the public. It also houses art galleries, an information center, a library, and individual workshops to create opportunities for gifted artists to be introduced and discovered to the rest of the world. This is Luo Zhongli. He is the president of the Sichuan Fine Arts Academy and also one of the most famous contemporary oil painting artists in China. His paintings have been exhibited in Paris, Chicago, and Taiwan, and have been added to the collection of the National Art Museum of China and Robert Hefner.
Professor Luo, thanks for sitting with me and having a cup of tea. You've shown me a beautiful campus. This Sichuan Fine Arts Academy makes me want to become a student again. So what was the exact moment when you decided, that's it, I'm going to paint for the rest of my life?
绘画作为自己一个终身的一个选择，那么主要是家庭影响。绘画对我来讲大致是那个3个阶段。第一个阶段小的时候是兴趣爱好，第2个阶段是理想，第3个阶段也就是我现在这个阶段，都像你吃喝拉撒一样，我需要它。
Now, your painting Father, it won the gold medal in the National Youth Fine Arts Awards in 1981. Now, this is a very prestigious award. How did it change your life?
父亲获奖以后，对我来讲是一个人生的一个重要的一个转折。画完了父亲之后，这个案我就作为自己人生的一个终身的一个选择了。
Tell me about the process that led you from student to the head of the school.
我15岁就进这个学校。现在已经是58岁，那现在我管理我的学校，实际上是把我当年当学生时候对这个学校的一些感情，所以那个时候我就特别希望有一个自己的一个工作室，所以现在是好几倍间，光是我自己四川美术学院自己的工作室都有300多套，所以现在四川美术学院的加上绘画这一块，在全国是一批一批的不断的新人出来。
So oil painting is a really classical art form, isn't it? Most of the young of today are more interested in the internet, hip-hop, music, videos. What is your influence on the young artists of Chongqing?
确实是，他们现在跟我们的生长环境和那个时代都不一样。现在的小孩都是在电脑，都是在卡通，这个大背景下成长。比如说我的小孩，他现在是画的是摇滚，那他不能要求这些孩子跟我们一样画出父亲我们这样一个成长和生活经历的这样一些画来。所以说我作为院长来讲，都是要理解他们。第2个就是要用在自己的艺术追求度上的那种人生目标。
Now I hear there's a very special scholarship in your name.
把这个奖学金已经做了今年这一届是8届。今年的这一届奖学金，它又有了一些新的不同，就是第一个规模比以前还更大，变成一个亚洲性的，组成一个区域性的一个奖学金。
So how has Chongqing actually influenced your art in the past and today, in the present?
因为我出生在重庆，从小学画也在重庆，所以说我现在整个的艺术的那个发展，应该说是跟重庆它是一个不能够切开、不能分割的这样一个关系。而且我希望当我去世以后，我的大量的作品能够留在重庆，在重庆建立一个我自己的一个真正的一个罗总的美术馆，这是我的愿望。
as you can see, I've dressed for dinner. I've just been to the docks and now I have a dinner date because somebody told me if there are 3 things that Chongqing is famous for: bright lights, pretty girls, and hot pot.
The hot pot has a long history in China. It originated in the north, where people have to fend off the chill early in the year. It spread to the south during the Tang dynasty. Later, northern nomads who settled in China enhanced the pot with beef and mutton, and southerners did the same with seafood. In the Qing dynasty, the hot pot became popular throughout the whole area of China. Hot pot broth is flavored with 10 different ingredients like ginger, garlic, red chili pepper, fennel, wine, Sichuan peppercorn, and some other local herbs and spices. When the soup is boiling, diners dip thin slices of raw meat, seafood, or vegetables in the soup, where it quickly gets boiled and is then put into a sesame oil sauce together with soya, chili oil, and vinegar. Hot pot is a dish that lives up to its name, both in temperature and in spiciness. Some people attribute this to the extreme temperatures of Chongqing. In the summer, it's very hot and has a reputation for being one of the 3 furnaces of China. But in winter, it gets very cold. And that's when the locals like to cozy up with a nice, steaming, spicy serving of this famous dish.
Moment of truth. I'm armed with my watermelon juice, which you should ask for because that's what's gonna cool it down. Now, I'm used to spicy food, but I've never had anything like this. Fantastic. It's so good. As you bite into it, you feel a little bit of heat, and then it hits the back of your tongue, and you can really taste these fantastic peppers that are inside the pot. The peppers are hotter than the chili, and your tongue starts to get a little bit numb, but it's fantastic. That is a beautiful marble carving of what Chongqing City used to look like. It had something like 17 entrances to the old city, and it's situated here at the Three Gorges Curio Market, which is in downtown Chongqing, right next to this massive People's Hall. And just next to it, you'll see a beautiful 3D relief of what Chongqing City used to look like, with all these old houses on stilts on the sides of mountains. Can't find that in Chongqing anymore unless you really look very hard. Now, I'm heading into this market to actually buy some curios and some old ancient pieces of china. And after that, I'm actually heading for something even more ancient to try. Well, it's 7:30, very early morning, and I'm standing in the middle of the zoo because I'm about to have my first ever Tai Chi lesson. I'm extremely excited. Tai Chi is actually a 2,000-year-old martial art which was closely guarded until about 700 years ago, when it became very public and it became kind of like a workout and a sport. I've never done it before, but Master Liu, who is a very famous Tai Chi master, he also referees Kung Fu matches, so I better be careful. He's going to be showing me the ropes. Master Liu?
For beginners, the vital part of learning Tai Chi is to perfect the form and the movements of one's body. First it starts with Qi Gong, a mild warm-up session. Then it goes to Wu Tin Si, before beginning the actual Tai Chi. Wu Tin Si was invented by a famous doctor to strengthen, train, and condition one's body with its gentle yet intricate steps. Interestingly enough, these steps in fact mimic the movements of 5 different animals.
个点起点落，要慢起慢落，轻起轻落，缓起缓落。
Today, many have taken to this sport, and while the youth train more on combative elements of the sport, the older folks practice it as a form of exercise and well-being, thus reflecting the two functions of Tai Chi, exercise and defense. Tai Chi distinguishes itself from other physical sports by not only toning one's muscles, but also tapping and honing one's inner strength, the Qi. This duality of the sport is said to help prevent heart diseases and other ailments.
谢谢. Wow, I'm still sort of reeling from the whole experience. It's amazing. I can hardly speak, actually. It's sort of like a mixture of dance movements and kind of an aerobic exercise. And when they say that Tai Chi is a workout of the body and the mind and the spirit, it is exactly that. I feel like I've just had a run around the park, actually. But I think I've picked up more than enough to go and try this out on my own without people laughing at me. They might laugh at me anyway, but I'm gonna try. As you can see, I came dressed to make my big Tai Chi debut in People's Square along with the hundreds of others that were supposed to be here, but nobody's here. I think they stood me up. Nah, it's raining. And you know what? When you're on holiday, plans change. So I am going to go to the Chongqing Museum. Well, that's it from me and the buzzing city of Chongqing. You know, a lot of people come to China just for Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong. But believe me when I tell you, this city is just bursting with potential, and it has so many charms to make your holiday just such a wonderful time. Well, that's it on this edition of Exotic Escapades. I will see you next week. Until then, safe travels.